if I wasn't on top of my breath, I'd be like, oh my God, get me the hell out of here. I want to die.
There's two kinds of activities. There's goal achieving, and then there's tension relieving. And quitting is a tension relieving activity.
She's so cute and inspiring, and she's like, this is the best part, the burn. Oh yeah, girl, feel the burn. I'm like, I hate you so much. But like, I keep going.
Well, how many sit-ups do you do when you start counting? And he said, I only start counting my sit-ups when it hurts. I only start counting when I want to quit. Hi, I'm Dave Conway, and I'm here with my wife, Jacqueline. Welcome to the 30-Day Year. On this podcast, we're sharing stories, ideas, and philosophies to show you what it takes to turn your annual income into your monthly income. I've learned that the first step to creating a 30-day year is entertaining new ideas that might at first appear strange or even laughable. But stick with us as we reveal that this idea is a very real way to build success. Our plan is to spark curiosity into what you're capable of achieving by exploring ideas around freedom, contribution, work, life, everything. The content may even disturb your perception of life a bit too, which we hope it does. This podcast is not about us. It's all about you. So sit back, relax, and come in with an open mind. Welcome to the 30-Day Year.
As always, hot topics on deck. The most important thing you've ever heard. Like, listen up. Forget anything you've heard about persistence. And since you've listened to this podcast, like, it's always a hot topic. So I love this idea, this topic, because it's not something that's natural to everybody, like to persist. I think it's something that needs to be cultivated, needs to be developed, that needs to be nurtured. You need people around you to help support you as you go for big things. And it's one of the most essential things. And I think for myself, potentially, or is actually, I'm just going to say it is, probably the greatest lesson and habit that I have formed by going after big goals, is forming the persistence habit.
Yeah, persistence is such an interesting idea because you only need it when you don't want it.
Exactly.
Right?
For sure. Totally. It's like as soon as you want to give up, right?
Yeah.
That's when it kicks in.
That's right. So yeah, the second you're tempted to quit, the second you're uncomfortable to a point of quitting, that's when you want to, cash it in. It's like,
for sure.
I forget, I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger was talking about Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali said, someone asked him, when do you start, how many sit-ups do you do when you start counting? And he said, I only start counting my sit-ups when it hurts. I only start counting when I want to quit.
Wow. God, I've been doing this like fitness app lately, and the trainer is all about 3 reps. So like 3 reps of a set, or let's say. And by the time I'm at that 3rd rep, I'm like, fuck. Like, I want to quit so bad.
And that's where the magic is.
Yeah, it is. And then she's so cute and inspiring, and she's like, this is the best part, the burn. Oh yeah, girl, feel the burn. I'm like, I hate you so much. But like, I keep going because she's like kind of like relaxed about it. It actually, the relaxation piece is interesting because like her being chill about it makes me relax, and then I persist.
Yeah, exactly. And that persistence is fueled by desire.
Yes.
So most of us, I'll hear people say, oh, I've got procrastination. And I say, there's no such thing as a procrastination problem. You have a desire problem. Mm-hmm. And if you have a persistence problem, you have a desire problem.
Right.
Because you don't procrastinate on things that you enjoy doing.
Right.
Right? So, for example, let's say there's a listener out there right now that loves golf. Like they love golf on a Friday. And then all of a sudden the boss man starts to say, oh, you gotta work Fridays. You can't golf anymore. It's like, oh, you might get mad at that boss because they're preventing you from doing something you like.
Right.
So when you understand that there's two kinds of activities. There's goal achieving, and then there's tension relieving. And quitting is a tension relieving activity.
That's true.
And it's a habit.
Yeah, that's true too. Mm-hmm.
So when we start to dig deep on the subject, and persistence, I think, is a subject, all of the ideas that we present for the 30-day year philosophy, they are all subjects in their own right. And when we start to understand persistence, I think we got to understand what I call the 3Ds of the third dimension. So they're non-physical things, but they do control our results and our reality. And they are, the first D is desire. And desire is an emotionalized want. It's not just a general want like, oh, I want to be rich, or, oh, I want to be happy, or, oh, I want to be fit. You know, like everybody wants that. Oh, I want better relationships. I want to be healthy. I want better sleeps. You know, those are just general wants. But when a want becomes emotionalized, when it has that strong like vibration, that strong push, that's where a desire is born. And desire controls our behavior. So when we start to understand that weak desires produce weak results and strong desires produce strong results. So the first D of the third dimension or persistence is desire. The second D is decision. And your decision making, persistence is a decision. So when you're in those moments where you want to quit, you're going to have to make that decision. And if you're weak, if your desire isn't strong enough, you will throw in the towel.
And it never feels good.
It never feels good.
No.
You might have temporary relief of it, but you don't get the results that you want.
No. And then you're mad at yourself.
Yeah.
You're frustrated with yourself.
And then you set up a really brutal habit nature.
Yeah.
Where you go, you get uncomfortable, and then you back off.
Right.
And then you relapse, and you go, and then you get uncomfortable, and then you back off.
Yes. And you chip away at your confidence.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's a self-sabotaging behavior.
It is. It really is. It's so bad. But you can overcome it.
So all of a sudden that discomfort, that moment of discomfort has enough power to kill the desire. But that desire is always with you. And it's going to resurface again.
Yeah, it will.
And if you keep quitting, then you're going to feel bad. And then your desires, they start abusing you in a weird way because you're like, oh, well, you know what you're like, Dave. Like, you always quit.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So the second D that you have to master is decision. And then the third is discipline. And, you know, my mentor, Bob Proctor, used to, his definition of discipline was give yourself a command and follow it.
I like that. I like that definition. It makes a lot of sense. And it's so simple.
Yeah, this I will do.
Yeah.
You know, not this I will think. This I will do.
Right. If we do it, we do it. I like that one too.
If we do it, we do it. Right? If we make the decision, we make the decision.
Right.
And
don't play games.
No. It's all, don't play games with yourself. And my definition of discipline is the ability to maintain or grow a desire. So the ability to maintain or grow a desire is my definition of discipline. Because if the desire is strong,
yeah,
your behavior will follow.
Yes. And it's like the decision will be solid. It's like a solid decision because it's based upon something that's like deeper than just wanting it. It's like, I really want it. It's this emotionalized heat where it's almost like it's either been sitting there for a while or it's just starting to grow and you know it feels real. It feels like really important to you. Like there's this connection of importance, I think, in there too. Like it's also, for me at least, with something I really want, typically it's always connected to something bigger than myself because it takes the pressure off it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you want to access that bigger purpose stuff and that bigger motive.
Yeah.
But desire's weak, and this is the challenge that we all face as people. And especially if you're beginning to entertain or actually beginning to implement the 30-day year philosophy, our desires weaken as we go along. And everybody has experienced this. Like, you know, it's New Year's coming up and you want to get that fit bod. So you get that membership and you got the dietary plan ready to go and you're certain you're going to stick to it.
Yeah.
And then, you might do it 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day, 6 day. Oh, I went out for, it was a birthday party. Day 7, I slept in. Day 8, next thing you know, back to your old behavior. And a lot of people live like, that idea of a Groundhog Day. A lot of people relive the same years over and over and over and over. And it's lack of a goal followed by persistence. Napoleon Hill said when it comes to building out masterminds, like when it comes to building an environment that's conducive to achieving big goals. He said, make sure that you have at least one person in your mastermind that has the trait of persistence.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Makes
that
sense.
person will keep the idea alive. Because isn't that what persistence is? Lack of persistence is trying to kill off the idea.
Is it the paradigm? Is it like this inner saboteur? I don't know what it is. It's almost like the kind of human need for comfort or safety. You know, it's like if we push that too far, we'll become unsafe. And then if we're unsafe, then we might be poor. We might die. We might this, we might that. All these like kind of nonsensical things start to come up because we feel like we're risking so much. It feels like there's like this risk piece that feels like too great. And it's like, oh, it's just easier to stay safe. Don't risk too much. No, I'll just stay safe. But really our purpose as humans on this planet is to grow and expand and express and do all these things. And it's really hard to do that if you're always in a repressive state. Well, it's impossible to do it if you're in a repressive state.
Yeah. And quitting is a habit.
It is.
And
Yeah.
persistence is a habit.
Right.
And some of us, like I'm pretty good at earning money. And I can persist pretty darn good on that. But sometimes when it comes to like the gym, going to the gym and things like that, it's like the persistence isn't quite the same.
Right.
And I think we all have these aptitudes and where we find persisting in one area much easier than another. I think it's because we desire that area more.
Right. Makes sense.
But we need our health. We need our mind. We need our incomes. We need our relationships. We need all these things.
Yeah.
And it is all habit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was watching some NFL coach, and he said, a great question to ask yourself, and I've begun to implement this, is this the best you can do? You know, and whenever you are tempted to quit, is this the best you can do? And you're going to know, no, I've got another rep in me.
Right.
I've got something else in me.
Mm-hmm.
And what you find is that as you persist, you start to tap into that non-physical aspect of yourself. It's all mental or spiritual. And the word persistence is just another word for faith.
You know, listening to you talk about that too, and thinking about myself when it comes to maybe health and fitness, physical fitness, is perhaps there's a belief in me because I've always struggled to be like achieved maybe like the fitness I would like. That's always been a bit of a thorn in my side. It's like you ask me to plan an event, I can obsess about that, no problem, and stay up all night if I have to. But when it comes to that, it's easy for me to be like, I can, I'll pick it up next month, or I'll really like dive into that in a few weeks or whatever. I'll really commit then. But it's almost like the desire for it almost feels selfish. It doesn't feel like it's in service of others. It doesn't feel like the impact is that great. And that could be what's holding me back. It's like maybe it's if...
I'm in a therapy session here.
Yeah,
right
we're
now.
getting into it, you guys. Let's just dig in. So it's like if I feel like, that's just me being vain, or it's me being self-obsessed, whereas me working on work is about the people. It's about more. It's about something bigger. Whereas like my physical health and wellness doesn't necessarily mean much in that circumstance. I don't know. That's uncovered for me a little bit listening to this, because it is, like you say, about desire. So it's like, why is my desire lower in that area? I mean, if I don't have my health, I got nothing. I can't do the work. I have to value it. But, if I don't have my fitness, I don't know. There's not a massive downside to what I'm able to output, at least in my current life. If I was a performer or a dancer, that'd be different. That would be everything. I'd have to make sure I'm fit as a fiddle. Whereas in my current profession, it's not as much of a priority. So it's just interesting where these desires line up in terms of how we actually live them out. And
yeah, you could have like, exactly, you could have like a super rich lady who isn't all that healthy, pulling up to work in a Lamborghini or something.
Sure.
And then you could have some, Greek god man riding the bus.
Exactly. For sure. Different priorities, different desires running.
Different standards and what's acceptable.
Right. Yeah.
Like what's acceptable? What do you accept?
Mm-hmm.
And whatever you accept. So if it's acceptable to not finish that rep, if it's acceptable for you not to achieve your goals, if there's a part of you that says that that's acceptable,
Yeah.
that it's okay, your consciousness, your mind will gravitate towards that. So when we think of persistence, I think you have to touch on the topic of standards. What's your standards?
Yeah, it's a big conversation to have with yourself because I don't think we necessarily have set what those expectations are, what those standards are for ourselves. And how am I going to treat my body? And how am I going to treat my staff? And how am I going to attack my goals? How am I going to approach everything? Because if like you've got the bodybuilder guy on the bus, that guy definitely has discipline. What would happen if you applied that discipline to another area of his life? He'd probably do really well because he's like wired up for discipline. If that woman decided that's in the Lamborghini that's like got a few extra pounds, if she took her discipline and her tenacity that allowed her to get to that place, what would happen if she applied it in a different area? I mean, we talked about that in, I think it was the visualization episode. I may have shared this already, but when I used to teach dance, it was very easy for me to visualize a dance on stage. Very easy, very natural. But it didn't occur to me that I could use my imagination to imagine anything. Imagine a new home, a new body, a new relationship with you or anybody. Like I can use my imagination for anything, not just making dances on a stage.
Right.
So it's such a beautiful trait and habit to acquire because it can literally impact every area of your life, make it for the better.
I think that the most disciplined mind is a serene mind. So when you're calm, you can persist.
Yes.
Easier when you're relaxed. So I think one of the key little hacks or little like pathways into persistence is to develop serenity, is to develop calmness. So when we think about persistence and grit and discipline and grind and things like that, I think, or the will or willpower, I think we've been educated improperly. So we've been educated that we got to like do something about this. You know, we got to get in there. We got to like, get to work and like stick to it. And,
Right.
and there's a lot of force connected with persistence. But what I've found is that that's not sustainable.
Definitely not.
And you burn out. And, you know, you can only be a robot for so long. And I think a lot of education is actually trying to turn us into robots. Like just like, you know, time management and productivity stuff. It's like it's all making us quite robotic. However, there's another side of us that isn't like that. There's a right brain to us. There's an imagination. There's emotion. There's all kinds of other parts of us. There's a spiritual component to us.
Yeah.
And when we understand, in my personal experience, is that to achieve a 30-day year, to be relaxed, to be calm, has been the most productive way for me to persist through every phase of the growth.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like just like the workout I shared earlier where I was like, I hate this right now. This hurts so much. And she's like, it's good. Just like burn it out, girl. Woohoo. Like, but she was super relaxed and chill about it. Like her attitude was relaxed. And that helped me so much just to get through the hard part. It's like, just stay calm. It's fine. It'll be done in a second. And it was. It always is.
I remember when you're saying that, I remember I had this like lunatic trainer, like a lunatic personal trainer. Like this guy would train Olympic athletes. He was just a beast in powerlifting. And this guy was such a freak. He was one of those guys that like did strongman. And he was telling me a story where they like put a rubber suit on him so he could lift like, I don't know, 1,000 pounds or something ridiculous. I was like, to keep his organs in. You know, it's like,
Oh
you're
my
crazy,
God,
man.
that's nuts.
Just to put in perspective what this guy's like. But anyway, I used to do weights with this guy, and he used to train me. And I used to be terrified because he would be pulling 2-3 more lifts out of me when I didn't think there was anything left in there. And I was lifting weights that I didn't think I could even lift once, let alone 5 times.
Right.
And the terror that I used to have lifting with this guy. And I remember after one of the lifts, it was squats, and I put it back in the rack, and I kind of like hovered down, like I crumpled down a little bit.
Sure.
Like I was like bent over.
Yeah. And
he came, poked me in the rib, and he said, stand up in my gym. Stand up in my gym. And he said, don't show weakness. He says, you can feel the pain, but don't be over consumed by it. So he said, straighten your back.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that wasn't hard, but straighten your back and just like stand firm.
Right.
You know, and it was an interesting lesson in that.
Yeah, it's a great lesson. I like it.
Right. So don't get like, it's like a wave, you know, it's like, yeah, we're not saying the waves aren't coming.
Yeah.
But don't get smashed by them.
Yeah. Hold your own.
Yeah. Yeah. He said,
Hold your ground.
he
Stand
said,
your ground.
Yeah. He said, don't stand like that at my gym.
Oh, man. Shout out Chad.
Walk tall, you know?
I love it. That's great. That's such a good lesson. So, okay, when it comes to actually forming persistence, I'm going to share my thoughts. You share your thoughts. So I think when it comes to sharing persistence, one of the best things I think to do is just to accept some sort of a challenge. Like, this might have been 2 years now. You basically talked me into doing a master cleanse, which is a 10-day cleanse. And I accepted it. And I would say that was, well, there's many health benefits to that we won't get into. But one of the biggest lessons and greatest gifts was helping me form discipline and persistence, because I wanted to quit several times through that cleanse. So that was a great experience for me. We also have a 21-day money momentum challenge. If like you've got a quick kind of money goal you want to hit, like accept Dave Conway's 21-day money momentum challenge. It's free. You can sign up. We'll remind you every day to stick to it. We have a process for you to follow and stick to it for 21 days. Like, accept a challenge and stick to it without fail. And it can be short too.
Yeah, you know, I would say for persistence in myself, like I love the challenge idea. I think they're fantastic.
Yeah.
But to cultivate calmness, I think that was one of the hardest things to cultivate as a way of goal achievement.
Yeah.
Because I was so programmed to force.
Yeah.
So when I started to relax and calm down, I was like, well, this isn't producing anything. You know, I remember one time I was in the office and I was doing my visualization. I was lying on the floor. Mm-hmm. And as I was lying there, my visualization, your mom, Anita, my mother-in-law was there. And she came in and she hit my foot with the door. Right. And she looked down at me and was shocked. And she's like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm working. I'm doing the most important work of the day. So to go mental in your activity is very foreign. It was very foreign to me. Mm-hmm. And to learning how to calm down was very foreign. So for me, I found that persistence is significantly easier when I have serenity, when I'm calm, when I have control.
100%. This is going to be like a real example. Like, this is a real one I've got for you right now. All the women that have had children will know what I'm talking about here. But I remember when I was in labor with my first child, if I couldn't stay on top of managing my breath to help me relax, it was like it was unbearable. But if I knew I could get on top of my breathing, I could mentally persist. I could mentally stay focused and get through it. I wouldn't, and then at the end of it, I could be like, that was still tough, but I'm alive. Whereas if I wasn't on top of my breath, I'd be like, oh my God, get me the hell out of here. I want to die. So it was like the breath, and I know breath is deeply connected to relaxing the body. It helps us relax our nervous system. We can keep on top of our breathing and use breath to do that. But it's kind of illustrates the point where, yeah, if we can maintain a relaxed state while doing something difficult, we can keep persisting. We can get through it. We can move on. We can get over the wave, and we can keep going. It is an incredible habit to form. How have you formed the habit of relaxation?
Yeah, meditation, affirmation. So whenever I do an affirmation now, I've realized in my life, at least up till this point, that calmness of mind is essential to any production of anything. And I've also found that anything that's produced without it isn't really worth it in the end. Mm. So in all my affirmations, I'll write down, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have a serene mind. Mm-hmm. And then I'll write the affirmation, and I do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So to learn to relax into bigger ideas, to learn to relax into letting go, because fear isn't relaxing, is it?
Oh, no.
No. Guilt isn't relaxing.
No.
Anger isn't relaxing.
No.
Right?
Definitely not.
They're not.
No.
Shame isn't relaxing.
No.
So when we start to understand this, that any of the negative states of mind, none of them are relaxing.
No.
All the positive ones are relaxing. So persistence is the willingness to move forward in a relaxed way, despite what everything is telling you, even yourself.
That's crazy stuff.
The willingness of it. And, I find the word commit an interesting word, because the word commit in the dictionary is to commit to something, like take an oath that you'll do this. Well, that's an interesting word, but there's another word that's even more interesting. It's recommit. So what the hell's up with that? Why would I have to recommit to something that I already committed to? Because we drift off. Mm-hmm. Our desires weaken. So as we learn to relax, calm the mind, we can, not casually, but calmly move through every phase of our growth. Because growth is stretching. Mm-hmm. And if you can have a calm mind as you grow, you can have a wonderful life even while you're growing. A lot of people think that they have to sacrifice the now for tomorrow. Well, I've never personally really been into that idea, because I'm only alive today. I'm only alive now. I might not be alive tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So I want to enjoy my life too. Mm-hmm. So I want to enjoy goal achievement. I'm not trying to get somewhere. I'm no longer under the delusion that I'll be happier tomorrow than I am today. Mm-hmm. Right? So I want to enjoy my life as my life starts to change, as I grow, as I achieve greater and greater things. And I think joy is a very rare thing in this world.
It is. It's something that we could all work at relaxing into.
So joyful persistence.
Joyful persistence. I like it. That is an uncommon thought, that's for sure. Thank you for listening to the 30-Day Year podcast. If you want more episodes like this, hit subscribe. And to learn more about us, visit conwaymentorship.com. If you have a question for us to use in a future episode, please email hello@conwaymentorship.com. Before the next episode, register for our 21-day Money Momentum Challenge to build persistence into your life.
Produced at Sound Lounge by T-Bone.